Greetings, everyone. So, what I'm going to do is just a bit of sketchbook doodling. So when I was on my way to my workspace here, my drawing space, I was like, well, what am I going to draw? And really, it's just going to be something fun. Exercise is kind of what I like to refer to this stuff as. So what popped into my mind was an astronaut of some kind. And we'll see how this goes. It may not be exactly like the astronauts that we would see. This could be maybe some different kind of technology involved in, I don't know, could be retro style. We're just going to draw randomly. What kind of random? Space seems like kind of an interesting thing. For some reason, as a kid, I didn't like the idea of it. It was not something. I didn't want to be an astronaut. There was always something that seemed like if you left planet Earth, you may not get back. And I didn't like that idea very much. As of right now, there are a couple of astronauts who are kind of stuck. And I hope they get to come back to Earth soon. Because that would be kind of a spooky thing. Just kind of floating above everybody. I don't think it's good for your bones to be in, less gravity for too long. Maybe that's why I'm doing this drawing, just because, I don't know, maybe I've been just sort of thinking about them floating around up there. It's a lot about space that I think we kind of take other people's word on it. Mainly because, well, how else are we supposed to figure out what exactly is there? We can get powerful telescopes, but for some reason we're not able to really view certain things, and then we find out that, well, they have to enhance the photos that certain telescopes might take. So they're not really true photos. I don't know. My understanding of most of these things is that, well, how about this? There's no real such thing as matter. It's just sort of a compilation of piles of energy. How about that? Of course, we view things as matter, But there's different states of matter. Solid, gas, liquid. Those are kind of the states of matter that most of us are aware of. Plasma, of course. It's funny, when I was a kid, I actually had a pair of what we used to call moon boots. And they were kind of a very thick-soled thing. They didn't bend very well. They were great for being outdoors and a winter's day. I think my brother's moon boots were like, I forget if they were blue and silver and mine was blue and red. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I don't know if I stomped around like I was an astronaut or kind of a silly thing. Moon boots. Kind of feel like there's probably too much going on in space for us to just be out there floating around like little tiny high-speed particles, much like asteroid type things, but that are moving thousands of miles per hour. It seems kind of scary in a way that we could be out there with these projectiles zipping around, and all we have is whatever this suit affords you to have for protection. Now, this isn't precision drawing. This is just exercise drawing, as I like to call it. Doodling from imagination. So, sort of set a foundation of sorts of what we were coming up with just for fun. Next thing. There would be something that would be attached to them that hopefully would be a means by which to stay attached to whatever vessel is out there. Because apparently they're moving quite fast. And I hope there'd be more than one tether. Let's say this one has a swivel. Now, we are about 12 minutes in. So what I'm going to do now is see if I can kind of clean up some of the weirdness of this image by adding more to it. That could be throwing in some shade. We'll see how it goes. We're not going for perfect accuracy either, of course. I mean, see the kind of the rivets that I maybe put around here? This is almost like the deep sea diver kind of helmet type bell thing that they would wear at one time for a breathing apparatus to be attached to the ship above, be fed air down to it. Yeah, space isn't really a thing that I'm super duper interested in. If I were given the opportunity, I don't think it'd be something that I really wanted to do. A free ticket aboard a rocket ship. Nope, doesn't seem like something I'm super interested in. I like being on this planet. I don't know if I really want to leave it. Some think it's a great adventure, and such an adventure is worth an exceptional amount of money. I would like to experience weightlessness, though. I think that'd be kind of neat. But I don't know if I even want to get on one of those airplanes that dives at terminal velocity or what have you. Some people get pretty sick doing that. They might even refer to them as vomit comets or something weird like that too. Some animals don't do well with it. Whenever they're testing out that sort of thing. Not really fair to the animal, but they run experiments like that quite often. Zero G's, zero gravity. Now let's say we'll have a bit of a reflection of the planet, which wouldn't look the way a regular globe would look, mainly because of cloud coverage. So how often do some of you think about life on other planets? And if it exists out there, is it possible that some of that life doesn't actually live on the surface of the planet? It's a neat idea to think about, don't you think? So if we have telescopes that can look at far, far away galaxies, well, we can kind of guess what kind of atmosphere they might have, but we really can't see below the surface. Already we've changed certain parts of how this looks. Just by adding a little bit more sort of squiggly lines to it. So if you're following along and doing a version of this as well, hopefully you're having some fun. Just playing around with the idea of an astronaut. Of course, when I was a kid, the greatest means by which to get into space wasn't just the rocket. It was space shuttles. Something that could be used over and over again. Could land like an airplane as well. But of course, required boosters, other rockets, or even the back end of, I think they could be loaded on top of a huge airplane as well. Anyway, pretty wild the stuff that they were doing to try to get off planet Earth. Now, whenever they get out of the craft, they like to refer to this as the spacewalk. And it is one of the riskiest things that you can do. Now they train over and over and over again. To deal with certain scenarios if something were to happen. Well, I think we're winding down. I think 25 minutes is roughly all we're going to do with this doodle of an astronaut. I don't know why I'm going with elbow and knee patches. Seems like something kind of interesting to do. All right. That is it. We can pretend that they may not even be in space, but because we have the reflection here, we're going to assume that they are. Because often they train underwater, you see. Which is, oddly enough, on our planet, not really the most explored thing. The oceans, I mean to say. Well, that's it for now, folks. We have doodled our way for a bit more than 25 minutes. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and come back again for more doodly fun type things. All right. Until next time.